Stay on with us, Sandeep. Lots more to chat about, but let's break it down when it comes to charts. Reliance Industries in particular, what a drag that was. 4% lower is what it closed, and that really contributed to that big gash that we saw for the frontline index. The stock incidentally fell below its 200 DMA. But more importantly, what is it that the charts are now indicating? Are we likely to see a rebound in the coming weeks? Let's find out. Going to take it across then to Kunal and Nikunj to take us through the charts. Nikunj?
So Kunal, the damage has happened. It's a rarity to see a 4% fall in Reliance. I mean, it really happens very, very rarely. But it has happened. And it has not happened for the first time. The point what we want to discuss, deliberate and perhaps flag off for our viewers is that when a 4-5% fall has happened in Reliance in a quick compressed time, what happens after that?
Exactly. So, we've seen this historical context for Reliance Industries when the stock has broken, by a margin of 4%. So there are many instances over the last many months when the stock falls by 4%. The most recent one was on the day of the elections or the results of the elections when the stock fell by almost 4%. But then what transpired post that is on an average when we looked at the data of the last, I think, 3-4 years from 2020-21, even beyond that also, that the stock behaves into two parts. The first part is that post the damage of this 4% correction, the stock falls by a margin of another 2 to 5%. So if you're asking for the next 3, 4, 5 days, there could be possibility that Reliance in terms of the historical data could fall by another 2 to 5%. But then what?
5 plus 2 to 5.
2 to 5%. So more from yesterday's closing. But then the data on the positive side is that on a matrix of the next 10 days, from the day when the stock falls by 4%, the stock is actually higher by a margin of 5% on an average on all the historical context which you've looked at.
Okay, so what you have here is that after a 4% fall, every time that has happened,
correct,
Reliance in the next 10 days has given you a return of 6 to 2 to 8%.
Correct, 5% on an average, which means.
So 5% down, 5% up.
So 100 becomes 95 and then 95 becomes 105.
So would you wait? So the 4% fall has already happened.
Correct.
Does that mean one should go and buy for the bounce or buy after 2-3% fall?
Buy after 2-3% because that's where you'll have that cushion. Your risk reward will be more profitable because then if, for example, as the numbers which we've discussed, if you are at 97, 96, then you're looking out for 8 to 9 points on the upside.
Okay, so 2-3% fall by Reliance and then a sharpish V-shape rally for Reliance could come.
Absolutely.
So wait for that turn.
Wait for that turn.
Wait for that turn. It could be closer to? In terms of price level?
Maybe another 100 points on the downside.
So 2750.
2750.
2750 is the time when if you enter into Reliance, you could get like a 5-7% V-shape rally.
Correct.
That's the point here, Avan, that the damage has happened. But if you now start nibbling into Reliance, another 100 rupees down, and then Reliance could, that really could be a great entry point for a good comeback trade in Reliance.
There comes a time when your heart calls for you to arise. Plant your feet solid into the ground. Decide your own limits, and then break right through them. Become something more. It's my time to rise.